أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقفينا على آثارهم بعيسى ابن مريم مصدقا لما بين يديه من التوراة وآتيناه الإنجيل فيه هدى ونور وموعظة للمتقين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام الأتمان على خيرة بشر سيدنا مولانا محمد ابن عبد الله المبعوث بالحق رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters in Islam. In a continuation with our Quranic studies in this Ramadan, yesterday we stopped on verse 45 in chapter Surah Al-Mai'da, and today we are going to continue from where we stopped, inshallah. And so we are starting from verse 46, which reads as follows: وَقَفَّيْنَا عَلَى آثَارِهِمْ بِعِيسَى ابْنِ مَرْيَمَ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ مِنَ التَّوْرَاةِ وَآتَيْنَاهُ الْإِنْجِيلَ فِيهِ هُدًى وَنُورٌ وَمُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ مِنَ التَّوْرَاةِ وَهُدًى وَمَوْعِظَةً لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And we sent, following in their footsteps, Jesus, the son of Mary, confirming that which came before him in the Torah, and we gave him the gospel, in which was guidance and light, and confirming that which preceded it of the Torah as guidance and instruction for the righteous. Actually, Allah was talking to us about the coming of Jesus as a continuation of the mission of those prophets that came before him. Remember, yesterday we have studied the the verse talking about Torah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was saying, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَا التَّوْرَاةَ فِيهَا هُدًى وَنُورٌ يَحْكُمُ بِهَا النَّبِيُّونَ الَّذِينَ أَسْلَمُوا لِلَّذِينَ هَادُوا والربانيون والأحبار بما استحفظوا من كتاب الله وكانوا عليه شهداء. That Allah has sent the book of Torah, and all the prophets that came after Moses, they used that same book to judge um, all the issues that happen between the Jewish people, using the book of Torah and the ahkam that are in there in the Torah. And even the scholars and the theologians that came after the prophets, Rabbaniyun, the men of God, Al-Ahbar, the intellectuals, all of them, they were using the same book, right? They were using the same book to advocate all matters that happen between the Jewish people, using the same book. And after those people, Allah said, وَقَفَيْنَا عَلَىٰ أَثَارِهِمْ بِعِيسَى ابْنِ مَرْيَمَ. Then we sent Jesus after those people, like at the tail end of their mission, we now sent Jesus. And Jesus, the son of Mary. And Jesus, the son of Mary, has two characteristics. The first is that مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. He was confirming what came before him. He was confirming the fact that those people actually came from God. And he was confirming the fact that the book that they were carrying, the Torah, was actually a book of God. Right? So he wasn't coming to condemn what they were doing. He wasn't coming to condemn them or condemn the book. But he was coming, first of all, to confirm what they were doing as being right. So the relevance of this here is that because in the beginning Allah was telling his prophet that they don't have a right to come to you insisting that you have to advocate in their matters using your book when they actually have a book that was revealed to them from God, and that same book contains guidance and light that they need. But why coming to you? There's no justification for them to come to you, right? So Jesus came and confirmed that. And on top of that, we have given him additional book called the Injil, the Bible. We have given him the Bible, the New Testament Bible, in which there was also guidance and light. Fihi hudan wa nur. There was also guidance and light in the book that Jesus came with. And even the book, just like Jesus himself confirming what was before him, the book itself was confirming what was before it, Torah, which is the Torah. Right? So the book that Jesus was given was actually confirming the book that came before that book, that was the book that was given to Moses, confirming that yes, just like I contain guidance and nur, that book also contained guidance and nur. وَهُدًى وَمَوْعِظَةً لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And that book was also was real guidance and was a real instruction for the righteous people who are God conscious. What actually happened, what actually happened, and which is still happening till today, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send someone with a mission. That person might be a prophet, might be an apostle with a book, and probably that person might be a theologian and a scholar who inherit that, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-ulama warasatul anbiya, wal anbiya lam yuwarrisu dinaran wala dirhaman wa innama warasu ilman." That scholars are those who inherit what the prophets were doing, and the prophets did not leave the legacy of wealth or the legacy of dinar or dirham. They actually left the legacy of knowledge, the religious knowledge. So when Allah sends someone with that kind of a mission, as time goes on, after the mission is successful, then time goes on, people come and build other interests around that same mission, leadership, and then some people would start as religious leaders, then they will turn into temporal leaders, and there will be some benefits in the leadership, and then as time goes on, their whole interest will go to that personal interest and personal benefit that they're gaining from the leadership. Then other people come and build economic interest around that mission that Allah sent. Other people come and build their identity around it. Other people come and build something and something and something. As time goes on, many different categories of people built many different kind of interests around that same message, until the central point of that message is no longer the most important thing to them. It's no longer their priority. They're talking about all other things around the message except the message itself. That is when Allah normally sent another messenger, probably with a message that's a little bit different from the first message. The creed would remain the same, but the Sharia would be different, so that it would not take those people completely away from those things that they build around the message into the real actual message itself. Right? So that is the wisdom behind sending Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, with a different book in addition to the book that was given to Moses and all the prophets that preached that book. He's not coming with an additional book that has some additional instructions, so that people will be guided, and those who are good conscious would get some additional instructions. وليحكم أهل الإنجيل بما أنزل الله فيه ومن لم يحكم بما أنزل الله فأولئك هم الفاسقون. وليحكم أهل الإنجيل بما أنزل الله فيه. Those people to whom Injil was given should also use the instructions of Injil to advocate matters between them and among them. They shouldn't be like the Jewish people who decided to hide part of the instructions given to them in their book and start resorting to other people so that they would get some educations based on their whims. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. And those who refuse to use the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in educating of matters, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. They are the disobedient and transgressors. This verse is actually similar to the two previous verses. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. When you look at these verses, as we explained yesterday, they are very scary because they tell you that if, for whatever reason, you decide not to follow the instructions given in the book of Allah in educating matters, you are kafir, you are zalim, you are a fasiq. These are really very weighty words in Islam, right? But a little understanding of what that means will now make it a bit more clear to us, because if we are to take it the way, if we are to take it in its literal um, spirit, then all the Muslims in the world today will be kafirs, will be non-believers, because no one now use um, the verses that are called ayatul ahkam, use them in educating matters the world over. No country, no community, right? Except if we are going to give a kind of Boko Haram interpretation to Islam, which is not what is meant by that, right? Um, this verse, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ, is actually talking about kufrun duna kufr as interpreted by Abdullah ibn Abbas, and there are a lot of details, explanation given by different scholars about what that means. وأنزلنا إليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه من الكتاب ومهيمنا عليه فاحكم بينهم بما أنزل الله ولا تتبع أهواءهم عما جاءك من الحق لكل جعلنا منكم شرعة ومنهاجا ولو شاء الله لجعلكم أمة واحدة ولكن ليبلوكم فيما آتاكم فاستبقوا الخيرات إلى الله مرجعكم جميعا فينبئكم بما كنتم فيه تختلفون. وأنزلنا إليك الكتاب بالحق. We have also revealed a book to you with truth, O Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Just like we have given a book to Musa and we have given a book to Isa, we have also given you a book. Allah is talking about the Holy Quran here. مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. Your book is also confirming what came before it, what came in the hand of Jesus, what came in the hand of Moses, and what all the other prophets used to adjudicate matters of conflict and all other issues among their people. Your book is also confirming the truth, the guidance, the light that is found in those books. It's also confirming that. وَمُهَيْمِنًا عَلَيْهِ. This word muhayminan alayhi is another description that the Quran has, which the other books do not have. Muhayminan alayhi. It means it is there to overshadow those other books, right? The Injil given to Isa alayhi salam was given to him to complement what is in the Torah. But Quran is not given to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to complement Injil, that's the Bible, New Testament Bible, or to complement Torah, the Old Testament Bible. No, it is given to him to become a guidance and light, but at the same time to overshadow those books. As long as this one is given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all the other hukums, all the other instructions given in the other books are either consumed and placed in this new book, or they are no longer valid. Therefore, فَحْكُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ. If they come to you, educate in whatever matters they come to you with, based on what Allah has revealed to you. وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ, and do not follow their whims, أَمَّا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ, leading you to leave out what has come to you, which is of truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لِكُلٍّ جَعَلْنَا مِنْكُمْ شِرْعَةً وَمِنْهَاجًا. Each one of you, each one community from your communities, we have sent to them شِرْعَةً وَمِنْهَاجًا, their instructions, their sharia, وَمِنْهَاجًا, and their approach to religion. This shir'atin wa minhaja, they are actually two sides of the same coin. It's talking about the sharia itself and the usul sharia, or what you can call usul al-fiqh, as the principles of the jurisprudence. Right here is the Sharia, and the Sharia is talking about the details, instructions about the the judgments, the enactments, the specific punishments for specific crimes, so sins committed and all of that. That is the Sharia itself. But Minhaj is the approach, the philosophy behind the Sharia, the spirit, the soul of the Sharia. That is, in case you have an issue about which there is no specific hukum, there is no specific verdict, how can you arrive at it? How can you intellectual think and come up with something that will become part of the Sharia, even though the details of those is not there, right? And you need a formula for you to do that. And that formula is what is referred to here as minhaj. That is the spirit of your Sharia. It's a kind of approach that you would find out this is the approach that we can use to arrive at the Sharia, right? That is why in our usul al-fiqh, for example, we have things like analogy, which is al-qiyas. When you have a hukum and you have a nas that talks about a particular hukum, and then you have another thing or another thing happened that doesn't have hukum, then you search and see if there's any nas, any hukum with a nas, with a textual evidence that is similar to this. And then you infer an analogy, and then you give it a hukum. For example, we know that alcohol, consuming alcohol is haram in Islam, right? And then when we find something we are not sure about whether consuming that other drink, another drink that is not alcohol, and we are not sure whether there is what is the hukum of that particular drink, which is not alcohol, then we look at it and see what happens if a person consumes that drink. Does it intoxicate? If it does intoxicate, then we go back to the text that is describing alcohol. Why is alcohol haram? Is because it intoxicates. Since there's intoxication here, there's intoxication here. Then we draw an analogy between them and say, okay, this is also haram because it does the same thing that the alcohol does, for which alcohol becomes prohibited, right? So that is the kind of minhaj. So the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they shouldn't come to you asking for hukum, because the minhaj of your sharia might be different from the minhaj of their sharia. The spirit of your sharia might be different from the spirit of their sharia. So um, even if sometimes the details of the ahkam might be the same, but the wisdom behind it might be different because of the differences of the times and locations, especially the time during which those prophets were sent. So there's no point them coming to you. They should either follow their books to the letter or drop the book completely, which is better for them, and come and accept your message in its entirety, right? That makes sense. But them keeping their book and then hiding some parts of it, and then from time to time coming to you and asking you for some adjudications based on your book, that is not making sense, and they shouldn't be doing that. But in case they come, oh prophets, in case they come, then give them judgment based on what is revealed to you, and do not follow their whims, do not follow what their heart desires are. Do not follow that, because that is going to lead you into living the truth that it was revealed to you. كل جعلنا منكم شرعة ومنهاجا ولو شاء الله لجعلكم أمة واحدة. If Allah so would, He would have made all of you the same community. ولكن ليبلوكم فيما آتاكم. But because the whole issue of the religion is trial, so He decided that He wanted to try each one of you differently. ليبلوكم فيما آتاكم. Each one will be tried differently. فاستبقوا الخيرات, so that you will compete on getting the goodness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ilallahi marji'ukum, all of you will return back to him. Jami'an, all of you, فَيُنَبِّئُكُم بِمَا كُنتُمْ فِيهِ تَخْتَلِفُونَ. And then he would now inform you about all the things that you keep disagreeing about in this life. وَأَنِحْكُم بَيْنَهُم بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ ولا تتبع أهواءهم واحذرهم أن يفتنوك عن بعد ما أنزل الله إليك فإن تولوا فاعلم أنما يريد الله أن يصيبهم ببعض ذنوبهم وإن كثيرا من الناس لفاسقون وأن احكم بينهم بما أنزل الله. O Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, educate between them with that thing that Allah has revealed to you. وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ, and do not follow their heart desires or their whims. Reason Allah is repeating this is because Allah is trying to draw the Prophet's attention to something specific, right? In the previous ayah, the same meaning was given to him, that educate between them with what was revealed to you by Allah, and do not follow their heart desires or their whims. But in this particular verse, there's an addition about a specific thing, and that is وَحَذَرْهُمْ أَنْ يَفْتِنُوكَ عَنْ بَعْدِ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. Be careful, because they are trying to drive you out of some of the things that were revealed to you. The historical context of this verse was that some Jewish people had a meeting, and in the meeting they agreed that let's go to this man and see if we can be able to manipulate him to act contrary to what was revealed to him, or at least to act contrary to what he claimed that was revealed to him. Let's see, and then if we are lucky to manipulate him, then we can now advocate that he is actually contradicting himself, because he says that his book says this, but look at the judgment he's giving us. So they will make up some conflict and come to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they will start trying to convince him to give them a judgment based on their heart desires, right? So they had the meeting, they agreed, and they actually came to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they argue and argue and argue. But at the end, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam insisted, as long as I'm the judge, you have to take it. This is the judgment based on what is in the book revealed to me. You either take it or leave it. And then after that, they left, and then Allah revealed these verses to him. Allah was confirming what he has already done. That insists, anytime they are with you, anytime they come to you for whatever reason, they want you to educate between them. Educate based on what Allah has revealed to you. وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ, and do not follow their heart's desires. وَاحْذَرْهُمْ أَنْ يَفْتِنُوكَ, they are coming here to manipulate you and بَعْدِ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ, away from some of the things revealed to you by Allah. فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ أَنْ يُصِيبَهُم بِبَعْضِ ذُنُوبِهِمْ. But if they turn away themselves from you or from the judgment you have given them, don't worry about that. You should just know one thing. إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ أَنْ يُصِيبَهُم بِبَعْضِ ذُنُوبِهِمْ. They did that because they have already committed enough sins, and Allah wanted to punish them with those sins that they have committed. So now He is making them turn away from the truth, right? When someone commits sins, Quran says, كَلَّا بَلْ رَانَ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ مَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. When you commit a sin, and there's going to be a droplet of a darkness on the heart of the person, and that darkness will keep increasing and increasing until the whole heart is soaked in the darkness. The problem and the implication of that is that committing sins becomes easier with the more darkness on the heart. The more it becomes, the easier the person commits a sin. The more it becomes, the easier the person commits a sin, until the person reaches a point whereby Allah is no longer interested in the person, and then He will drive you away. You keep committing, and you keep turning away from the truth. And even when you recognize the truth, you feel completely not comfortable with it and you don't want it. Right? That is what happens. So Allah is now telling the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam the reason why they will turn away from whatever judgment you have given them. It's because they have committed enough sins and Allah wants to punish them with that. And therefore, إنما يريد الله أن يصيبهم ببعض ما كسبوا. Allah want to punish them, though he's no longer interested in them, so he made them turn away, turn away from the truth. وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ النَّاسِ لَفَاسِقُونَ. And remember, most people that you see are actually disobedient. Most people are transgressors, right? And subhanallah, in the Holy Quran, if you go through the Holy Quran, we find out that in most cases where Allah is talking about the majority are the ones who are not good. ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعقلون ولكن أكثر الناس لا يفقهون ولكن أكثر الناس. Wherever you hear the majority of people, the description, the adjective that follows is not a good one, it's a negative one in most cases. وإن تطيع أكثر من في الأرض, you look and say, if you are to follow the whims of most of the people in the land, they are going to misguide you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's really not a problem if you are with the truth and the majority of people don't want to follow you. That is definitely not a problem. Keep to the truth regardless of who agrees with you or disagree with you. That is not the criteria. Criteria is not the criteria is not by the number of the people following the truth. The criteria is by the truth itself, regardless of whether everyone is following the truth or everyone is turning away from the truth. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء بعضهم أولياء بعض ومن يتولهم منكم فإنه منهم إن الله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء. O you who believe, do not take the Jewish people and the Christians awliya, your reference point in your life, right? The word awliya means next of kin. But next of kin is not necessarily someone who is your literally next of kin. That is not what it's talking about. It's talking about someone you held in high esteem, someone you trust, someone you take as your reference point. Anytime you want to do something, the first person that comes to your mind that you think about is that person. You're thinking, what is Mr. A going to say about this? Or you want to delve into a business. What is he going to say? What is he going to think about me if he learned that I do this, right? In this case, that is your kind of waliul amr. That is someone you made your waliul amr psychologically, right? Your next of kin psychologically. And that is even more relevant in our lives today, right? Who is that someone that you always want to please by your actions and inactions? Who is that someone that you don't want to displease by your actions and inactions, right? And that can be a friend, that can be a teacher, that can be a boss in the office, that can be anyone, as long as you hold that person in high esteem and you feel like pleasing that person is profitable and displeasing that person is a loss in your own side, right? So that is waliul amr in this context. So you want to take someone as your waliul amr, someone you want to please. That person shouldn't be a Jewish person shouldn't be a Christian, as long as there are Muslims around. There are Muslims who are as qualified. There are Muslims that are also important in that community. It shouldn't be, right? بعضهم أولياء بعض. They are doing enough of that among themselves, right? They are doing enough of trying to please one another among themselves. You don't need to increase. Right? Why don't you keep yours among your people, Muslims? وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ مِنْكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. And anyone who takes them in that regard, فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. He's doing that because he's actually one of them. Right? He's not just respecting them, but actually you feel as if you are regretting not being one of them. Right? He's doing that because he's one of them. And this depicts the attitude and the behaviors of the hypocrites from among Muslims, as we have seen in many previous verses, and we will see in some verses in the future. The immediate verse after this is going to be more explicit about this. The people doing this are actually the hypocrites. And anyone who's like that is not going to be guided, because Allah doesn't guide the transgressors and wrongdoers. Right? So anyone who finds those kind of things in himself, he should know that he is already a wrongdoer and a transgressor, and Allah would not guide him. فترى الذين في قلوبهم مرض يسارعون فيهم يقولون نخشى أن تصيبنا دائرة فعسى الله أن يأتي بالفتح أو أمر من عنده ويصبحوا على ما أسروا في أنفسهم نادمين. فترى الذين في قلوبهم مرض يسارعون فيهم. O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but surprisingly you would see many people competing to please those people, but this is because they have some illness in their hearts. Their hearts are not clean. They have some illnesses. And those illnesses that Allah is referring to, they are spiritual illnesses in the heart of some people. But that is the reason they are competing to please those people who are not part of their community, right? And they are doing that. The worst part of it is that they are doing that at the expense of their people. They feel so ashamed belonging to the community of Muslims, right? They feel so ashamed. They wish they were not part of that community. And they always want to prove their loyalty to people other than their people, to people other than Muslims, right? And they are doing that, Allah said, because of the illnesses that they have in their heart, those spiritual illnesses that they have in their heart. They don't feel confident enough when it comes to talking about their community of Muslims. They feel as if to apologize for being Muslims, which is the peak of having heart disease, heart illnesses, the spiritual illnesses in the heart. يقولون نخشى أن تصيبنا دائرة. If you are to have a conversation with them about this, the reason they would give you is that who knows, maybe they win the battle in the future. Who knows, maybe they emerge victorious. We want to have this alliance and relationship with them in case our people did not win. They win, at least we are friends, will be protected, right? But the reason they are thinking in this line and in this respect is because their loyalty is not to the community and is not to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their loyalty is to themselves. They are always thinking about themselves to be protected. If Muslims are winning, we are with the Muslims and we get protected. If the non-Muslims are winning, then we are with the non-Muslims and we get protected. But that is very wrong thinking. If you are with a community of people, regardless of the religion, you should be loyal to the end, right? When those people are winning, you're winning with them. When those people are failing, you're failing with them. When that community is on its feet and trying to stand up, you are part of the process of trying to make it stand up, right? That is loyalty, and that is the kind of loyalty Allah is asking us to give to the Muslim community, right? Allah deliberately wanted wanted to make Muslims, wanted to make his people struggle in this life. That is why he made this life with the functioning based on the rules of you you put effort and see the result of that effort. And Allah said in the previous verse, وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَجَعَلَكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَلَكِنْ لِيَبْتَلِيَكُمْ فِيمَا آتَاكُمْ وَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. If Allah so wish, He would have made all of us the same community, so there won't be any struggles among any people. But He wanted this as a trial. He wanted the whole project of life, human being coming to this life. The whole project is a project of trial. Allah wants to see whether we are going to compete to please Him in the way He wants us to. That is the whole idea, right? That is why you will always see truth and lie fighting and battling and struggling. Today the truth would win. Tomorrow the falsehood will win. Next tomorrow, the truth will win. And next tomorrow, the falsehood will win. And it keeps going on and on and on until at the end, وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Then the God conscious ones will have the final success, right? So, why is Allah telling us this? Is because the reason they are giving for trying to please people other than their people is a baseless and invalid reason. نخشى أن تصيبنا دائرة فعسى الله أن يأتي بالفتح أو أمر من عنده. But Allah can decide to just bring a big success, al-Fath, just like Fathu Makkah, the conquest of Mecca. It happened in the 9th year, right? And at that time, Muslims emerged victorious beyond the imagination of anyone. What would you say? Right? Allah is with those who are with Him all the time. And He can bring something else, right? It doesn't have to be the conquest of Mecca like it happened historically. It could have been something else, right? The whole idea is not for you to remain comfortable and victorious all the time. The whole idea is a project of trial, is a project of putting people to test. That is the whole idea, and that is why Allah wants to see, where are you going to be? Are you going to be the truth when the truth is winning and when the truth is failing? Or are you going to remain with the truth as long as it is succeeding and then flee away from it once it is failing, right? وَيُصْبِحُوا عَلَى مَا أَصَرُّوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ نَادِمِينَ. And when that happens, then they would start regretting those things that they kept secret in their heart. They will regret it. And the regret at that time is not going to be useful, because they regret at the time when the evidence was already clear that the Muslims were succeeding. ويقول الذين آمنوا أهؤلاء الذين أقسموا بالله جهد أيمانهم إنهم لمعكم حبطت أعمالهم فأصبحوا خاسرين. يقول الذين آمنوا, those who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be so surprised at that time, and they will be saying, هؤلاء الذين أقسموا بالله, isn't these people the ones that we are swearing by God that they are with you? They are talking to Muslim brothers. Isn't those the people that swear that they are with you? So actually this is their true picture, this is their true color now coming out. You succeeded, and now even though with their mouth they are saying that they are with you, but they don't seem happy that your success is already here, right? So the believers who have very clean hearts, once when a person, it's really a good person, sometimes being good can take you to the point of being naive sometimes. So they can be so naive to think that all the people that say they are with us, they are actually with us, right? But by the time it is apparent to them that actually those people are not what they say they are, they will be so surprised, and they will be asking questions. And these people, the people that say they are with us, إِنَّهُمْ لَمَعَكُمْ, that they are with you, referring to the Muslims and other believers. Oh my, Allah said, حَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُم, they are not with you as you assume that they are. حَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُم, and their deeds, all their deeds are destroyed. Their deeds are not accepted by Allah, and they are destroyed. They are no longer useful to them. فَأَصْبَحُوا خَاسِرِينَ, and they have now emerged losers. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. يا أيها الذين آمنوا من يرتد منكم عن دينه فسوف يأتي الله بقوم يحبهم ويحبونه أذلة على المؤمنين عزة على الكافرين يجاهدون في سبيل الله ولا يخافون لومة لائم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله واسع عليم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا, O you who believed, أن يرتد منكم عن دينه فسوف يأتي الله بقوم, anyone from amongst you who decide to leave his religion, فسوف يأتي الله بقوم, Allah is going to bring another set of people. You think you have had enough of this religion and you want to leave it, no problem, you can go away, go, no one is stopping you. But you should know that coming to the religion, you are not here to serve the religion. Actually, it's the religion that is serving you. And if you think you are no longer interested, go away. Allah is going to bring another set of people that He loved, and they love Him back. Right? You, Allah loved you, but you didn't love Allah back. Allah is going to bring another set of people that He loved and they love Him back. Right? The point is, if Allah loves you, and you love Allah back, then you become really, really a good person, close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if Allah loves you and you reject the love of Allah, then Allah will let you. He will let you be. He will let you do whatever you want to do in your life. Because you rejected His love, He will let you. أَذِلَّةٍ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ عَزَّةٍ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. These are two striking descriptions of the believers. Azillatin alal mu'minin. Anytime you see them among other believers, they are so humble. They humble themselves. They treat themselves as if they are nothing among other believers. They are very cooperative. They are very supportive. They are just trying to see which part of the project is not being taken care of. They will just go there and find themselves a job to help support that cause. That is their attitude anytime you see them among Muslims. But come on and see them among non-Muslims. You will see really entirely a different kind of person, full of themselves, confident, not letting anyone to look down upon them, not letting anyone to disrespect them, right? Because they don't want to give the impression of being weak when they are outside the community of Muslims, right? They don't come about portraying their arrogance to Muslims. They don't do that, right? They reserve that for when they are outside of the Muslim community, and then they present themselves as really very confident, exhibiting their expertise and all of that, because they don't want to give any impression that they are weak, so that would not be interpreted as the Muslims are weak. This is their attitude of the believers. They are struggling in the cause of Allah. They are struggling to support the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this struggle consists of a range of things, starting from trying to purify their hearts, which is called jihadun-nafs, purify their hearts and their soul and become really as good as it can get, and then doing whatever thing they see can support in whatever possible means, whatever possible way, and those range of things till the technical conclusion of whatever it is needed from them so that they will help the cause of Allah. وَلَا يَخَافُونَ لَوْمَةَ لَائِمٍ, and they are never afraid of anyone blaming them for doing what they are doing. Right? They don't feel ashamed of supporting the cause of Allah, regardless of who is there, regardless of who is looking at them, regardless of who is going to say what. As long as this is the cause of Allah, they are all out and they are ready to offer anything that they have until that cause is either succeed or they are no longer able to do it. ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ. Being able to do that is uncommon gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ذَلِكَ الْفَضْلُ مِنْهُ ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. And this uncommon gift of Allah subhanahu, He gives it to whom He wish. Allahu wasi'un alim. And Allah is really full of wealth and full of knowledge. إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون. إنما وليكم الله ورسوله. Verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your point of reference, not any other person. As long as you want to do whatever it is that you want to do, the first person that you should remember in your heart is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, followed by the believers, those who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's not about human being, it's about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Believers come here because they believe in Allah and they are supporting the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the reason Allah is talking about mu'minun alladhina yuqimuna salat, those who establish prayers, wa yu'tuna zakat, and those who are giving zakat, wa hum raki'un, and those who are constantly in the state of worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this brings us to the end of our Quranic studies today, inshallah. And we are going to continue tomorrow from where we start. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا برحمتك شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يعز من آليت ولا يذل من واليت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تهول به بيننا وبين معاصيك ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا ومتئنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا أبدا ما أحييتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مصيرنا ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك فينا ولا يرحمنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم ربنا زك نفوسنا وآتها تقواها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها مولاها. اللهم ربنا زك نفوسنا وآتها تقواها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها مولاها. اللهم ربنا زك نفوسنا وآتها تقواها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها مولاها. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره والمقدار العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.